During the shelling we unfortunately lost 7 schoolchildren and 4 teachers. The schools were destroyed.
Every day I see my graduates dying. This is what is closest to me. And these people are gone.
A bright room and smiling children is a perfect picture of everyday life in the kindergarten. Everything would be fine, but all this beauty is inside the basement. Instead of providing education to children as it is done in the rest of the civilized world, Kharkiv region schools are going underground. In this Derhachiv school, underground classrooms are being built, burrowing 1.5 meters deeper into the ground. The main goal is to educate students and protect them from Russian missiles. This is a new reality for Ukrainian children. Kozacha Lopan, Prudyanka, Tsupivka are villages in the Derhachivska Hromada near Kharkiv. The border with Russia is no more than 15 kilometers away. It was here that people first realized that a full-scale war had come to Ukraine.
The occupation took place in the first hours of the full-scale invasion of Ukraine by Russian troops. The Russian military used schools as their deployment points for manpower. They hid their ammunition in sports halls and basements, and deployed personnel in educational institutions.
There were 6,000 children in the Derhachiv community attending kindergartens and schools before the war. Now there are 3 times less of them. Some of the children were taken away by their parents to save them from shelling. The fate of others was more tragic, says Vyacheslav Zadorenko, head of the Derhachiv community.
A large number of people were forcibly transferred to the territory of Russia, including children and teachers. We still do not know the fate of some children.
Derhachiv Hromada had 22 educational institutions before the Russian invasion. 21 of them were damaged or completely destroyed. The damage is worth hundreds of millions of hryvnias. We are heading north of Derhachiv, close to the Russian border, to see with our own eyes the traces left by the Russian occupiers and the war that Russia brought to the land of Ukraine. Here, on the streets of the village of Slatine, there were battles between the Russian occupiers and Ukrainian defenders.
The Russians set fire to their own vehicle with missiles. Therefore, the first hits were chaotic missile flights all over the village. Therefore, it was chaotic shelling of civilians by Russia.
The local lyceum had 620 pupils. It is the largest educational institution in the Derhachiv community. On 23 February, the best athletes among the pupils were honored here. The next day, the young scientists were supposed to be congratulated, the lyceum director recalls. But instead,
on the 24th morning, I received a call from teachers who live in Kozacha Lopan. They started crying. They called one by one. Natalia Vasilyevna, it's war. I said, what war? They cried and said, war. We have tanks coming. Tanks are coming through the village. We cannot come to work.
The war climbed 2 teachers of the lyceum. A physical education teacher, 21 years old, Anastasia Goncharova, was killed in a rocket attack on Kharkiv. Even early, physics teacher Dmitro Dubrova died in horrific circumstances. He was only 34 years old.
On the first day of the full-scale invasion, an enemy military column came to us, and of course, it was almost all broken. But it so happened that when the column was coming in, the physics teacher of our lyceum was leaving to visit his family. He left and met this column directly. And they shot him at close range from APCs. Unfortunately, he died on the spot, in his car. Our educational institution began to suffer almost from the very first days of the full-scale Russian invasion of our lands. From the very first days, hailstones began to arrive, damaging the outer walls and roofs. Then the shelling from tanks and mortars began. This all happened in March. On the 3rd of July, the most powerful strike on our educational institution took place. It was either an air strike or an S-300 that hit us, and the school suffered the most. The educational institution was almost completely destroyed.
It was a surprise to meet a schoolboy in this destroyed lyceum. This is Artem. He is helping his grandfather save the surviving textbooks and posters. He showed us his empty classroom.
Ти хочеш навчатися далі?
Да, це буде довго.
Не скоро.
Да, не скоро.
During the shooting, explosions are heard. Artem's grandfather is in a hurry to leave the building.
Да, Наталя.
Валера, йди додому, що це таке?
Хороший перетот. Зараз буду, тому що при такому я предупреждений покидати здання.
Будь ласка,
Да.
будь ласка.
Зараз.
А що це таке? Туди чи сюди?
А хто його знає? Я вже сам теряюся, що це таке.
Бо люди їдуть у Tsupivka, а я це тепер переживаю.
Tsupivka, that is where we are heading next. It is about 10 kilometers to Russia. The village was occupied by the Russian army in mid-March 2022. Larissa Lyshishina, a teacher at Tsupivka Gymnasium, spent 100 days under occupation.
I saw them through the window entering the village. I saw either Ural or Kamaz trucks coming. I don't remember. And there are a lot of them, a full body, these racists with machine guns. God only knows how many of them are there, and only the letters E is white in my eyes. Where are they going? Where are they going to settle? The only assumption was that they would go to school and that was it. On 13th of March, Russian troops entered the territory of the Tsupivka Gymnasium. They settled there. To strengthen their positions, they dug trenches all over the territory of the school. And we have a large territory. They dug up everything and destroyed the fence. Even the one they couldn't destroy, they cut out in order to bring in their equipment.
The principal of the gymnasium dared to visit the school in the first days of the occupation.
It was around 17th of March. They stood around the perimeter and did not let anyone in. I went to the main entrance. I introduced myself as the director. That I needed to enter the building. They allowed me to go only to their office. I went only to my office. I took the documents I could take. And that was it. They did not let me go further. Not to the other offices. Not anywhere. Because they had already settled here.
That was the last time Irina saw the gymnasium intact. After the liberation of Tsupivka in September 22nd, she was greeted by ashes and ruins.
You understand that for 7 months I did not see it, I lived with it. And my husband brought me here. He did not want to. We were afraid to go anywhere at all. Because anti-tank shells were buried or mines. And when I saw the school, I fainted, to be honest. Then we came here and there was so much stuff, Russian uniforms, their packages, and shells. They had piled it all up there. The school was looted. The equipment was taken away. Everything was completely destroyed. Everything was taken away both from the school canteen and the kindergarten.
The colossal destruction make it hard to imagine what it was like before the war. By the way the world was become a key concept in the preparation of this material.
There was a multimedia classroom. There was a multimedia board, a computer lab. There were brand new laptops. It was a corridor. And there were doors to classrooms from the corridor. There was a library. There were also painted books. The owl was so wise.
According to teachers, the most difficult thing is to explain to pupils why it all was and for what reason it disappeared in an instant.
Children change. I have a daughter who graduated from this institution, and she has gone herself into shell. And somehow she doesn't show her emotions much. But I see that she has a trauma. She really wants to come back here. And children who have a weaker psyche will have this trace in their memory for a long time. And I really want them to forget it. Forget it. Yes.
6th grader Nastya walks into the school she hasn't seen over a year. It is not easy for the girl to accept the new reality.
I arrived in the spring this year. When I came here, I was shocked. I studied here until the 4th grade. And then, on February 23rd, I was here at school, studied here. And then the next day I slept. I hear explosions. It is very sad. I would like to ask you to rebuild my school. I'm only worried about the children. That some non-humans came and crippled their lives. Destroyed their homes. They killed old people. They are killing young people. I have so much hatred in my soul. When I see my graduates dying every day. This is the closest thing to me. These are the people I lived with all my life. And these people are gone. How can we talk about those who killed them? They are not human beings. They are not human beings at all. To kill young boys? The nation of Ukrainians. Why are we being destroyed? I cannot understand these things. I would really like to see the school working. To see the school rebuilt, to have children. I would like to hear children's noise, to hear the bell ringing. I believe that if the Russians destroy our educational institutions, they will not destroy our education. We are still working. We still teach children. We see that children are also eager to learn. And education has been, is and will be.
You are beautiful. May God grant you health and happiness.